Decades behind bars for the father who killed his own son and his girlfriend. Their families left to grieve for life. Prayers and tears for a young woman whose life was stolen, finally farewelled after being so callously dumped in the outback. Frustrated police reveal a month-long road blitz, starting with one of the most dangerous holidays of the year. Brisbane's lockdown over, but it's still not enough for SA health authorities to lift the border ban for Easter. And sausage dogs on patrol, the SA police prank that almost broke the internet.
This is Adelaide's 9 News.
Good evening. A father who gunned down his own son and the teenager's girlfriend has been handed one of the longest sentences for murder in the state's history. Family and friends of the young victims broke down and yelled abuse at the killer as he was led from the dock, facing 34 years behind bars.
Catching a glimpse of the outside world, one of his last for decades, a stony-faced killer arrives at court to learn his fate for an horrific crime. The senseless murder of his own son Wukash and his son's girlfriend Chelsea Ireland. For that, Paul Klosowski has been sentenced to life in prison with a minimum 34 years behind bars.
We'll never understand why this happened, and we'll spend the rest of our lives grieving and asking why. Today marks the end of one incredibly difficult chapter. Tomorrow we continue with a much more difficult task of learning to live without Chelsea and Wukash.
Family and friends of the victims packed the courtroom today, hearing details of how Klosowski gunned down the young couple during an argument at his home in the state's southeast. Drunk and fueled by anger, he hunted the teens as they fled in fear, shooting them both at close range. Chelsea killed while hiding in a locked bathroom, calling 000 for help. Both victims just 19 years old.
Nothing will ever compensate for our loss. They were just beautiful kids. We just want them back, and nothing will ever change that. We'll always say that they should be here.
In sentencing, Justice Anne Bampton described the killing as deliberate and purposeful. Her voice wavered as she spoke of the grieving family's anguish and heart-wrenching pain. It is clear that Wukash and Chelsea's legacy is that they made the world a better place. Family of the victims sobbed as the judge detailed the couple's horrific final moments. Wukash's mother so distressed that at one stage she had to leave the courtroom.
Yeah, we've all got life sentences.
Klosowski given a 15% discount on his life sentence because of his early plea. Justice Bampton insisting the maximum 40% discount was not appropriate given the seriousness of the crime. Family and friends yelled and swore at Klosowski as he was led from the dock. He'll be eligible for parole in 2054. By then, he'll be 80. Ella Duffy, 9 News.
Family and friends of Outback murder victim Jasmine Kaur have made emotional tributes to the compassionate, hard-working 21-year-old. In an intimate funeral service, her loved one shared heartfelt memories and delivered an important message that women should feel safe to walk the streets without fear.
Surrounded by those who loved her most, Jasmine Kaur's soul finally laid to rest. A final farewell for the beautiful, talented woman taken far too soon.
Jasmine was... We love you, Jasmine. We know you're here. And you can sense us.
Jasmine's nearest and dearest gathering for an intimate funeral service during which they prayed, sobbed and comforted each other, but amongst the sorrow, incredible strength to remain positive.
We will miss your smile and positive attitude towards life.
As Jasmine's family delivered emotional tributes, perhaps their most important message of all.
Every woman should feel safe to walk on the streets without fear of any violence and harassment. We will miss you, Jasmine, and you will stay in our hearts forever.
Jasmine's body was discovered in a shallow grave in the Flinders Ranges on March 7, her alleged killer leading detectives to the very place he buried her. Jasmine's family grateful for the tireless work of detectives and for reuniting them with their lost loved one.
Thank you for everything you have done for Jasmine and keeping her so comfortably.
Jasmine's body will now be sent back to her immediate family in India, while her family and friends in Australia tried to navigate life without her.
I hope you never have to face anything like this in your life. I want to end this by saying, let's unite together.
Jasmine's accused killer remains behind bars in the Port Augusta prison until his next court appearance in December. Keziah Sullivan, 9 News.
Tonight, tens of thousands of people are taking to the road for the Easter long weekend. And after a deadly start to the year, police have launched an unprecedented month-long road safety campaign, cracking down on dangerous drivers. Harvey Biggs joined us from Glen Osmond. Harvey, what's the message from police?
That they'll be out in force right across the state, Brenton, not just this long weekend, but for the entire month with 7 dedicated road operations. And it all starts right now with a focus on the heavy traffic leaving the city tonight. And with good weather predicted all long weekend, police are expecting South Australians to head to the regions in their droves. And they're appealing to every single motorist to do their bit to make it a fatality-free weekend. We've lost 6 lives over the last 5 Easter breaks, and police do not want to add to that toll. And they're particularly concerned about a recent increase in dangerous behaviour on our roads, including high-level speeding and drink driving, and have this message to those willing to take risks on our roads.
The fact that they're taking these risks is outrageous. People who exceed, speed excessively, people who drink and drive, it just beggars belief. So if you're doing something wrong on the roads or taking too many risks this Easter, you will be caught.
So take a break, Brenton, be patient with other motorists and don't get distracted. That's the message from authorities for those hitting the roads tonight.
Yes, excellent advice, Harvey. Please take care. Thank you. Queensland's snap COVID lockdown has been lifted just in time for Easter. Greater Brisbane's 2.3 million residents given the good news they'll be able to enjoy the long weekend with just 1 new infection overnight linked to a known cluster.
That is good news for Queensland, and Easter is good to go. We're lifting that Greater Brisbane as being a hotspot, and I'm asking all other leaders across the country to consider doing the same as well.
Let's now go live to Rory McLaren. Now, Rory, authorities here aren't moving.
They're not, Brenton. Our transition committee meeting this afternoon and choosing to keep the hard border in place for arrivals from the Greater Brisbane area. It means anyone who comes into our state from that region of Queensland over Easter will still have to do 14 days of self-isolation and be tested for COVID. The earliest that there's likely to be any change to those controls is next Tuesday, with a Queensland government spokesperson telling 9 News they hope the restrictions can be relaxed as soon as possible. Brenton.
Thank you, Rory. In the meantime, mass COVID vaccination sites are being looked at this evening as federal government struggles to hit its rollout targets. 9 News has learned the current number of daily doses would have to double for the government to reach its October deadline.
The government's goal for its vaccination rollout is clear.
We're on track for our first dose for everyone by the end of October.
But this January target,
by the end of March, I should say, to have reached some 4 million population.
missed the mark by well over 3 million as exports were blocked by the European Union. The slow distribution has sparked a bitter feud between the states and the Commonwealth.
If we don't help the Commonwealth, they will not be able to meet their own deadlines for rolling out the vaccine.
9 News asked mathematician Lyndon Roberts to crunch the publicly available numbers to see how the rollout is tracking.
We've done about 670,000 doses so far. To hit the government's target, at a minimum, we need to do 20 million doses by the end of October, but realistically more like 30 to 35 million.
In March, the nationwide daily vaccination rate averaged about 50,000, with the government declaring its best day peaked over 72,000 jabs. But to hit its October 31 target of 20 million Australians having at least one of their 2 jabs, 33 million doses will have to be delivered at a rate topping 140,000 every single day. The government says a surge is on the way and pins its hopes on local production.
We now have sovereign vaccine manufacturing capability in Australia.
The government target for domestic AstraZeneca production is 50 million doses by December 31. Last week, CSL's first dispatch was 832,200 doses. It aims to soon hit a dispatch rate of 1 million doses a week. At that pace, the government will miss its supply deadline by 2 months.
A government that's all smirk and mirrors when it comes to the details that need to be delivered.
To hit the end of October target, something will have to change. And 9 News has confirmed that the Commonwealth is planning to use mass vaccination centres once the rollout broadens to younger populations. But that will also demand the cooperation of the states. Chris Ullman, 9 News.
An overheating computer sparked an emergency response at one of Adelaide's COVID quarantine hotels this morning. A firefighter carrying the smoking device out of the Stamford Plaza and onto North Terrace before dousing it with water. Staff and others, including police officers stationed at the hotel, called the fire brigade just before 6 o'clock after smelling smoke throughout the ground floor. No one was injured and no occupants had to be evacuated. A drunk driver has brought down power lines when he smashed his car into a Stobie pole moments after police tried to stop him at St Maurice overnight. Patrol spotted the Mitsubishi on 7th Avenue just after 11:30 and activated their lights and sirens. The vehicle turned down Green Street, crashing into the pole just metres from homes.
I heard tyre screech followed by a crash, followed by what sounded like another car had hit that car. And then I heard the airbags go off.
The 37-year-old driver from Firle allegedly blowing twice the legal blood alcohol limit. He lost his licence on the spot for 6 months and will face court. Police are investigating if a Ford Falcon was torched at Enfield. Firefighters were called to Polter-Wilter Avenue at 5 a.m, finding the resident's car up in flames. Thankfully, no one was injured, but the car was destroyed. The cause is still under investigation. Hundreds of paramedics have marched through the city in the latest round of industrial action, calling for help and fixing our embattled health system. Firefighters joining the chorus, claiming both sectors are worryingly under-resourced.
South Australia's emergency service workers furious, marching down King William Street demanding they be better resourced.
We're advocating for our patients and this is how we're going to do it.
The ambulance union claiming ramping at our hospitals is worsening, lives continuously put at risk, and the state government's offer for 50 more ambulance officers and roster reform isn't enough.
We're going to be making a lot of noise for as long as it takes. We'll be chalking the ambulances, our members will be talking, we'll be holding public events like this if we have to.
Well, we're in negotiations at the moment within the SAET. And we're just encouraging the union to sit down and negotiate. I think we've put a compromise position on the table.
Firefighters joining the chorus, concerned about the safety of their ageing trucks.
The under-resourcing, the lies that go on about what's really the case, the refusal to really talk to us seriously.
The chief executives of both South Australia's Ambulance Service and MFS letting their thoughts known about today. 9 News obtaining memos telling staff workers must not attend if they're on shift and not wear their uniform, adding if a worker on shift attends, they don't get paid.
It's bullying, it's more bullying. They tried to bully him into silence, that didn't work. They tried to bully him into not doing action, that won't work.
The ambulance union will be back in mediation with the state government next Wednesday, but without any immediate resolution, more rallies like this are being promised.
It can't be understated the real emotional and psychological impact that me and my ECP colleagues are being exposed to on a daily basis.
Oliver Haig, 9 News.
Northern Suburbs train commuters will be on substitute buses until the end of the year, with the state government confirming further trouble with the electrification of the Gawler rail line. Train services were expected to resume on and off during the remainder of 2021, but the government has decided to shut the line until the project is finished, hopefully by November. Slow progress on the $700 million project has been blamed on the pandemic and collapse of a key supplier. An opposition push to set up a parliamentary inquiry into data harvesting by the government has failed. But the Premier has subtly changed his language with regards to if information has been collected from government links, which have redirected through a Liberal Party website.
We're very adamant that there has been no deliberate data collection or retention that was independently verified by Nation Builder, which provides that platform.
The Premier previously issued a statement saying no data is being collected or retained. Seafood, hot cross buns and chocolate are at the forefront of many South Australian minds tonight. The long weekend trading rush is on, but don't despair if you still need to pick up the essentials. There's plenty of shops open over the next few days.
Fish, prawns and of course oysters. They're South Australia's Good Friday essentials. Seafood, the top item on the menu at Central Market. Shoppers stocking up ahead of the long weekend.
We are getting garfish and octopus.
Marinara mix for some spaghetti and some prawns on the barbie.
Easter is huge. It's very different from Christmas. Somehow people are a little bit more relaxed.
Today is one of the busiest trading days of the year. Many merchants working from 4:30 this morning to meet the trading rush.
In seafood, they're looking for a whole fish that they can bake in the oven and decorate beautifully.
Hot cross buns, another mouth-watering tradition high on the list. Over at Hague's, a steady stream of shoppers collecting what's arguably the most important treat of all.
What do you get? Dark chocolate Hague's is the best. South Australian, always the best, and they're just great quality.
If you've left your shopping until the last minute, there's still time to stock up. What's open this long weekend all comes down to the size of the store. Small supermarkets and small retail are open across Adelaide on Good Friday and Easter Sunday at their discretion. Pubs are also licensed to trade. Saturday is regular trading until 5 p.m. Most shops will open from 11 to 5 on Easter Monday, and you can also grab a beer at the pub if your local chooses to open.
To relax some restrictions, we're now allowed 75% capacity compared to 50% last weekend. The hotels aren't required to open, but the majority will, so you might want to double check.
Ashley Wick, 9 News.
And Good Friday and Easter Sunday services are expected to attract large numbers of worshippers this year. For the first time since the pandemic began, there's no limit on the number of people who can attend church. Parishioners will, however, be required to wear masks if the venue is at greater than 75% capacity. Caps on indoor venues were lifted on Tuesday night. Adelaide has been announced as the host city for the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2023. We're one of 9 locations across Australia and New Zealand to be awarded matches, with games to be played at Cooper Stadium in Hindmarsh.
So now to have it in my hometown and in our backyards, it's just incredible, and it's going to be amazing for South Australia and for the women's game.
Major upgrades will be made to the stadium to accommodate larger crowds. The event has been billed as the biggest event Australia has hosted since the 2000 Olympic Games. Fantastic stuff. Warren Twittray joins us now with a look ahead at sport. Now, there's still no room for Darcy Fogarty and the Crow side.
No, there's not, Brenton, and Chase Jones as well. They're both on the outer and will cross live to Tom Wren with the team a little later. Plus a teary exit for a Redbacks swing king.
Thanks, Treaders. Talk to you soon. Next in Adelaide's 9 News. If you're looking for an excuse for a holiday, this is it. Flights to some of the nation's hottest tourist attractions, now half price. Plus, how COVID has driven young women's desires to freeze their eggs.
The final weeks are like nothing.
It doesn't stop. It amps up from here on in.
You've ever witnessed before.
Am I a liar? Tonight could go all the way.
The most addictive show.
I'm actually over it.
Is about to exceed.
Do you love me?
Wait, what? Do I love you?
Your wildest imagination. The final weeks begin with a Monday final commitment ceremony blockbuster.
There was some self-sabotage there.
I'm sick of seeing girls get treated like...
If I don't feel more wanted, then...
Who knows what was said?
Still lying through your teeth.
I'm not taking any anymore. We are a sinking ship at this point.
The Monday final commitment ceremony, Monday 7:30 on 9.
The Good Guys Easter doorbuster deals are on now. This LG washer only $648. Dyson V10 vacuum only $799. This HP 14-inch laptop only $349. And this GoPro only $599. Easter doorbuster deals only at The Good Guys.
We count on you, and you can count on us for whatever you need, for whatever's ahead.
Barocca, energy to help keep you on.
The Good Guys Guys, Easter doorbuster deals are on now. This LG washer only $648. Dyson V10 vacuum only $799. This HP 14-inch laptop only $349. And this GoPro only $599. Easter doorbuster deals only at The Good Guys.
The Pollies can't help themselves. My super doesn't work out for me. I'll be working forever.
Well, we've worked all our lives for this place. We'd hate to have to sell it to fund our retirement.
That's for sure.
Authorised by B. Dean for Industry Super Australia, Melbourne.
9 News, brought to you by Industry Super Funds.
More than 100,000 airfares were booked within hours today as travellers took advantage of the federal government's half-price flights. The scheme's so successful, airlines are tonight offering a range of new discount destinations.
Cheap flights have landed and check-in terminals across the country are about to take off.
The holiday's on us, or half the price of the ticket is on us, and we want those tourism destinations visited.
Between them, Qantas, Jetstar and Virgin will release 800,000 half-price tickets, part of the government's $1.2 billion scheme to help get our aviation sector back on its feet. It will cover 15 destinations, chosen based on their reliance on tourism, including the Gold Coast, Whitsundays, Uluru, Kangaroo Island and Broome. But after uproar over some regional areas and capital cities being excluded, the airlines have extended flights to other areas. From Sydney to the Gold Coast, you'll pay $77 one way on Qantas, $66 flying Jetstar from Brisbane to Adelaide. One way from Melbourne to Launceston will set you back $55 on Virgin and $145 from Adelaide to Perth.
This kind of a package is really critical for Australian airline industry to ensure that they are able to survive.
With everyone keen for a holiday, the sudden rush crashed some airline sites. We're all accustomed to border closures ruining travel plans, so the advice is to check airline policies to make sure you won't be charged if you change the date of your flight.
As I say, this has been overseen by the ACCC, so there's a fair bit of scrutiny on the airlines at this stage.
The discounted fares will be released in batches, so the best way to secure a bargain is book early, but for later on in the year, so from July onwards. Also avoid school holidays and weekends when airlines aren't expected to offer up too many cheap deals. Sophie Walsh, 9 News.
More young women are freezing their eggs with the pandemic triggering fertility fear of missing out. But fertility specialists warn putting eggs on ice will not guarantee a family down the track.
31-year-old trainee neurosurgeon Samira has no plans to have children, but last year she froze her eggs.
Just in case. I don't know how I'll feel and I don't know what circumstances will change or how my life will change in 5 or 10 years.
The pandemic has triggered a spike in women putting their eggs on ice, meaning they're preserved in frozen storage to potentially make a baby via IVF down the track.
Last year we had an increase of 68% of women freezing their eggs compared to our previous year.
Fertility doctor Lynn Burmeister says the uptake is due in part to COVID lockdowns, delaying dating opportunities, weddings and procreation plans for many women in the prime of their fertility.
If you're about 34 or under 35 and you do have about 20 eggs in storage, it will give you about an 80 to 85% chance of a baby.
One egg freezing cycle costs between $2,500 and $7,000 plus extra hospital and storage fees. At this facility alone, more than 500 women chose to freeze their eggs last year. But it's important to know that the procedure is not a fail-safe baby-making option. Reproduction researcher Dr Michelle Peet says there are no guarantees that a woman's chilled eggs will eventuate in a successful pregnancy. But for many, it's simply a way to keep their options open.
And it might be controversial to say this idea that freezing eggs is more about having options than it is about actually achieving a baby from those eggs.
I always just had this thought that what if I changed my mind?
Emily Rice, 9 News.
Well, another ripper day of weather today, and it's shaping up to be hot and sunny across the Easter long weekend. Chelsea Carey joins us live from Wavell, and Chelsea, keen holidaymakers have already set up camp.
Brenton, Easter is starting a little early here at the Adelaide Showground Caravan Park, and we have beautiful weather for it. It is still quite balmy, sitting on around 30 degrees. Now, plenty of people have already rolled in here and set up for the long weekend, pulling out the camping chairs and switching into holiday mode very easily by the look of it. Now, this is the first Easter that this new caravan park has been up and running for, and it is proving popular. The park will be at 90% capacity this weekend. That means there are just a few spots left, so if you're still hunting for a last-minute place to get away for the Easter break, well, this could be it. It is absolutely a great atmosphere here, and already there are lots of happy campers.
I love the weather down here, you know. This weather, since we've been in South Australia, it's been perfect, you know. Warm during the day, cool sleeping at night. I love this place.
Now, you will want to pack the sunscreen for your Easter holiday, and I'll have the full forecast just a little later. Brenton?
Terrific. Thank you, Chelsea. Well, next, he's back. How Donald Trump plans to get back into the White House. And it turns out Harry and Meghan weren't married in secret after all. That's still to come.
They called him the funniest man alive.
Come on in.
No. Sunday at 7, the heartbreaking truth about Robin Williams.
It was the beginning of understanding what had really gone on.
How a superstar genius really lost his brilliant mind.
It's like having a limb or something ripped from you.
And why working from home spirals into domestic hell. 60 Minutes, special time, Sunday at 7.
For me, the intensity starts early and keeps building. It can be full on. The heat, the orders, the pressure from the boss. For tough pain relief, my go-to is Panadol Extra. Because if I don't, with my migraine headaches, I'm kind of useless in the kitchen. And I don't want to let the crew down.
Service?
I really love these guys. And it's good to know you can still help out the people who need you.
That's it.
Together, let's rethink care.
Now at Harvey Norman, get 5% back in Harvey Norman gift cards on selected cooking appliances. SodaStream Jet Drink Maker, only $49. That's 25% off. Keep your air clean all year round with the Dyson Pure Hot and Cool Fan Heater, $799. This Samsung French door fridge, exclusive deal, just $2,199. LG King Size 65-inch Cinema Series OLED Smart TV, save $650. Plus, get 60 months interest-free with bonus gift card. Now at Harvey Norman.
Go!
We count on you, and you can count on us for whatever you need, for whatever's ahead.
What's the difference between sultanas and currants?
I have no idea.
Why don't they just call them dried grapes? I mean, a dried apricot is called a dried apricot. If a currant gets old, is it still currant?
Baker's Delight. Nice and simple.
Jump into Easter and get your barbecue sizzling with Woolworths responsibly sourced seafood, like Tasmanian Atlantic salmon, barramundi and Aussie tiger prawns to help support the future of Australian seafood.
That's why I picked Woolies.
Tomorrow it's Easter Eve and holiday plans for hundreds of thousands of Aussies are up in the air. We'll bring you the absolute latest.
And how these footy bubbles will work. We hear from the NRL and the AFL. See you from 5:30.
Pfizer says its vaccine is 100% safe and effective for children aged 12 to 15. More than 2,000 children took part in a trial with no COVID cases emerging for those who received doses. 18 people who received placebos became infected. France is entering its third national lockdown with COVID infections doubling in the last month. Schools will be closed for the next 3 weeks and domestic travel banned. The nation will also be under a 7 p.m. curfew. Almost 3 months after a Boeing 737-500 crashed into the sea off Indonesia, the black box has been found. Despite being pulled from the depths of the Java Sea, the voice recorder was found in good condition, leaving authorities hopeful to find answers as to what sparked the crash. The 9th of January incident killed all 62 people on board. Donald Trump has given his first camera interview since losing the US election, appearing on his daughter-in-law Lara Trump's podcast. The former president hinted at a run in 2024 as he took aim at Joe Biden and the tech giants, maintaining that the election was rigged.
It was disgraceful what happened. That was a third world country voting system, and it's a shame. It's an absolute shame.
He has no new evidence, but the former president is as insistent as ever that the election was stolen.
There's no way I lost Pennsylvania. There's no way you can lose Pennsylvania. And we didn't, by the way, we didn't.
Donald Trump didn't let facts get in the way of his wide-ranging interview with his daughter-in-law. He claimed China and Russia are laughing at the current state of America since he left office.
They're looking at what's going on and they don't believe it.
And appeared upset at the lack of media coverage of Joe Biden's fall getting into Air Force One.
And this guy falls down 3 times. He couldn't get up. The 3rd time, he didn't know where the hell he was. And it was not on the evening news.
As for the tech giants cancelling him,
but I think social media has become so corrupt that people aren't believing it anymore.
The president finding a new outlet to communicate with his supporters, the humble press release.
It's more elegant as a, president, etc., etc. To me, it's more elegant.
Twitter, Facebook and Instagram pulled down the video not long after it was posted, not because it contained factually incorrect information, but because it featured the voice of the former president.
A furious Lara Trump posting to Instagram, and just like that, we are one step closer to Orwell's 1984. Wow. Donald Trump refusing to rule out a run in 2024.
You do have hope. That I can tell you.
But Silicon Valley still stands in his way. In Los Angeles, Alison Petrowski, 9 News.
There's been a daring rescue in the French city of Nantes, a group of young people forming a human ladder to help a family escape from an apartment fire. A couple managed to climb down from the 3rd floor after tossing their 6-month-old baby to safety on a mattress below. The baby girl was taken to hospital in a critical condition, but is now recovering. Firefighters were responding to a separate emergency, but this fire truck became the main story when it was hit by an SUV, forcing it to plough into a petrol station in Detroit. The mess of vehicles went up in flames, drivers and passengers scrambling to safety. 7 people were injured, none seriously. It's been an emotional day in the trial of Derek Chauvin, the former police officer accused of murdering George Floyd in Minneapolis. A witness broke down in tears on the stand as he relived the horror scene.
I'm gonna die, man.
Handcuffed, George Floyd tells officers he's claustrophobic.
I can't breathe.
Vision from a body-worn camera was shown to jurors for the first time. Reliving it was too much for Charlie McMillian.
Oh my God.
The 61-year-old was the last to talk to George Floyd, telling him to cooperate because he couldn't win.
Get up and get in the car right. I can't. You can't get y'all the opportunity to get in, bro. I told you can't win.
Man, I can't breathe. Mama, they're killing me. Then when you start saying my body's shutting down.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is on trial, charged with murdering George Floyd by holding a knee on his neck for more than 9 minutes. A teenage store clerk described how the ordeal started when George Floyd tried to buy cigarettes with a fake $20 bill.
So when I had asked him if he played baseball, he went on to respond to that, but it kind of took him a little long to get to what he was trying to say, so it would appear that he was high.
The trial could run up to 4 weeks. In the United States, Michael Genovese, 9 News.
Russia has registered the world's first COVID-19 vaccine for animals. Clinical trials have tested it on dogs, cats and foxes with no adverse effects. The vaccinated animals were able to develop antibodies for up to 6 months after receiving the jab. Scientists say it will help prevent new mutations of the virus. The Queen has made her first public appearance of 2021 to mark the centenary of the Royal Australian Air Force. The 94-year-old monarch delighted airmen and women with quirky quips, even questioning how stranded Australians are coping.
Queen Elizabeth stepping out in spring colours at a memorial site she opened in 1953.
It's not a good day.
It's a lovely day.
It's a very windy spot. Normally.
Is that so? Her Majesty paying tribute to the centenary of the Royal Australian Air Force as the UK's aerobatic jets, the Red Arrows, soared overhead. The monarch meeting servicemen and women, offering a mischievous quip about the role of Typhoon fighter jets. The 94-year-old sovereign, sprightly in lime green, wearing a wattle brooch gifted to her during her 1954 tour of Australia.
The fact that she chose an Australian event as her first post-COVID lockdown engagement this year is a particular compliment to the RAAF.
Etched in these stone walls, the names of almost 1,400 Australian airmen who died during World War II with no known grave.
So we really have built our Air Force now on the shoulders of those who are memorialised on these walls. It has a special meaning for us.
The Queen's visit to this memorial is only the third time she's held an engagement outside of Windsor Castle since the first lockdown began a year ago. This event is the first of a number of commemorations now planned for the UK. The monarch revealing she knows about Australians stranded in the UK, even asking our High Commissioner how that's going.
Can't get home.
They're delighted to be here.
Could be worse.
I think so.
And with that, the Queen was on her way back to Prince Philip, who's recuperating after heart surgery. In Runnymede, Curry-Ann Greenbank, 9 News.
And the Archbishop of Canterbury has quashed Meghan's claim she married Prince Harry 3 days before the royal wedding. She told Oprah they were legally wed before what the public thought was the official ceremony at Windsor Castle. The Archbishop said it was not the case, given he signed the marriage certificate. Well, coming up next, the best and worst dishwashing liquids revealed, and the results may surprise you. Plus, South Australia's new pint-sized police dog squad. Why these cute crime fighters are causing a stir online.
The TV stoush, Hollywood star Zac Efron versus rookie Aussie filmmaker Ben Waddell.
You feel like you want to cry.
Why this travel show's at the centre of a bitter feud.
Zach Seb Costello with a current affair. Is this program original?
So who copied who?
This is my baby. I love the planet.
A current affair tonight.
The police can't help themselves. My super doesn't work out for me. I'll be working forever.
Well, we've worked all our lives for this place. We'd hate to have to sell it to fund our retirement.
That's for sure.
Authorised by B. Dean for Industry Super Australia, Melbourne.
I'm a 25-hour girl. Lasting Finish 25-hour foundation from Rimmel London. Hydration boost with vitamin E and hyaluronic acid. A foundation that lasts as long as I do. Lasting Finish 25-hour foundation from Rimmel London. Live the London look.
We need Kong. The world needs him.
Godzilla will come for him.
Godzilla vs. Kong in cinemas now.
The Good Guys Easter Doorbuster deals are on now. 18% off this Bosch washer, 14% off this Hitachi TV, this Haier dishwasher only $4.99. Plus Thursday only get 10% off a huge range across the store. Easter Doorbuster deals only at The Good Guys.
I'd love my own place, Dad, but I haven't saved enough.
With a Homestart Graduate Home Loan, you could be closer to owning your own home than you think. Save thousands on upfront costs with a Certificate 3 or higher.
Hey, Dad. Yeah? I have a door.
Get into your own home sooner with Homestart.
I'm a 25-hour girl. Lasting Finish 25-hour foundation from Rimmel London. Hydration boost with vitamin E and hyaluronic acid. A foundation that lasts as long as I do. Lasting Finish 25-hour foundation from Rimmel London. Live the London look.
We need Kong. The world needs him.
Godzilla will come for him.
Godzilla vs. Kong in cinemas now.
The Good Guys guys, Easter doorbuster deals are on now. 18% off this Bosch washer, 14% off this Hitachi TV. This hire dishwasher only $4.99. Plus Thursday only get 10% off a huge range across the store. Easter doorbuster deals only at The Good Guys.
9 News, brought to you by Industry Super Funds.
Well, I don't know too many people that like doing the dishes, but a good detergent can make the job far less painful. Tonight, a new study is exposing the dishwashing winners and the woeful ones, scoring the same as plain old water.
Dishing the dirt on our dishes. It's a chore that sometimes feels never-ending, but having a diligent dishwashing liquid can be your best friend.
It cuts the cleaning in half.
When it comes to detergents, there's not a product Brisbane mum Rosa Braithwaite hasn't tried.
I've done the palm olive, I've done the sunlight, I've done the morning fresh. If you've got the other ones that are a bit watery, you'll be scrubbing till the cows come home.
Her favourite, Fairy Platinum.
Fantastic, but I must admit I am quite heavy-handed.
But according to a new study by Choice experts, it doesn't scrub up so well.
The same as plain tap water.
Testing 38 products using plates stained with different foods, including rice, starch, bolognese and egg yolk, the consumer group has separated the winners from the sinners. Popular products like Fairy Platinum, Palm Olive Original, Uniquely Natural Dishwashing Liquid and Woolworths Essential Dishwashing Concentrate all slapped with a score of 45%.
So if you've got these in your cupboard, then you're essentially just pouring money down the drain.
They don't know what they're talking about.
As for the liquids conquering the kitchen, well, Morning Fresh Ultra Concentrate Ultimate and Aldi's Tandil Ultra Power Soak and Clean have been crowned the best on the market with a rating of 90% effectiveness. But it seems price is no indication of performance.
The Morning Fresh product costs you around 98 cents per 100 mils, whereas the Aldi's product only costs you 35 cents per 100 mils.
Even if you trust a brand, it doesn't mean all of the products within their range are exactly the same. Take, for example, these two Morning Fresh bottles. They look identical, but testing shows this antibacterial concentrate rates around 40% lower when it comes to getting the gunk off your dishes.
Do your research and you can save yourself an absolute mozza while still getting your plates clean.
Annie Puller, 9 News.
South Australia woke up to a new dawn of crime fighting. An elite new arm of the police force was unveiled, a specialised team inside the dog unit capable of flying. But at the start of April, not all is what it seems.
Obedient, focused and agile. South Australia's dog operations unit is elite, but something has been missing.
We've always felt there's been a bit of a gap in our capabilities.
Meet the force's newest weapons to sniff out crime. The small urban search and guided evacuation team, also known as the sausage team, intensely cute and versatile.
Chuck them into ceilings, up on top of cupboards, let them have a good look around there. Chuck them under cars, under cupboards and things like that.
Their lightweight will prevent injuries.
It's been really hard work lifting those 40-kilo shepherds, especially above your head.
Don't be fooled by their low centre of gravity. These aren't your typical canines.
Also going to be able to attach them to drones, which is, that's really a game changer for us. They're going to be able to be tactically deployed from that, drop down into people's yards and things like that.
Very, very pleased for the sausage dogs. I've got to say though, my Labradoodle was absolutely devastated that he missed the cut.
Just after midday though, this dream of a sausage dog unit was shattered. Turns out it's all a big joke, commissioned by the highest ranking officer in the police force. Pictured here with his dog Gracie, Police Chief Grant Stevens has assured 9 News no dog was actually attached to a drone or placed in any harm. Mike Lorrigan, 9 News.
I don't know. I think it's the real deal.
No,
I think it's the real
try that.
Patrol.
Don't try that at home, kids over East. No sausage dogs on drones.
Now, Treaders, we're looking forward to Good Friday football.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's a couple of young guns still out of the side at the Crows, and we'll go straight after the break to Tom Wren at Adelaide Oval for the word on who is in.
In the search for love, who's turning heads in Australia's biggest zoo?
The two of them will meet. We're hoping that they'll get along really well.
Thursday, 7:30. When these keepers play Cupid, can they find a perfect match?
Fingers crossed they do want to be together.
It's animal attraction on a mega scale.
We're hoping that she is nice and gentle with him because he is significantly smaller than she is.
Mega Zoo, Thursday, 7:30 on 9.
Are we there yet? Are we thinking of the planet? Are we helping people move? So, are we there yet?
Every day we move closer. Oh, what a feeling, Toyota.
Okay, team, we're doing something new.
Supervise.
That's right. A selected range of interesting products you might not expect from us.
Oh, like dog costumes and stuff?
Not quite.
Check out this remote-controlled Jeep kit for $49.99. Or these Brocky jigsaw puzzles for $15.99.
Robotic arms?
Supervise. On sale this Thursday while stocks last.
Dad?
Yes, mate?
Mum said to tell me about the bees and the birds or something.
She did not. Did she? She did. Well, okay, where do I start? Oh, look, they're here already. Gee, that was quick, wasn't it?
With over 350 patrols, RAA Road Service is ready 24/7. RAA.
Keep on moving on.
Biggest brands at Adelaide's best prices. Room air conditioners, split systems, gas wall furnaces, ducted gas heaters, and ducted reverse cycle replacement units. Air conditioning warehouse sales, Salisbury, Richmond and Lonsdale. airwaresales.com.au.
At Drake Supermarkets, we've got ingredients for Treat the Kids Days with Peter's Drumsticks 24-pack, $15.95. And for party days with Cadbury favourites below half price. Drake Supermarkets.
Ingredients for every day.
Supply of natural gas, you'll never have to stop doing what you love, like slow cooking a whole pork loin around and around and around.
Okay, team, we're doing something new.
Supervise.
That's right. A selected range of interesting products you might not expect from us.
Oh, like dog costumes and stuff?
Not quite.
Check out this remote-controlled Jeep kit for $49.99. Or these Brocky jigsaw puzzles for $15.99.
Robotic arms?
Supervise. On sale this Thursday while stocks last.
Dad?
Yes, mate?
Mum said to tell me about the bees and the birds or something.
She did not. Did she? She did. Well, okay, where do I start? Oh, look, they're here already. Gee, that was quick, wasn't it?
With over 350 patrols, RAA Road Service is ready 24/7. RAA.
Keep on moving on.
The Adelaide Crows will play Gold Coast in Good Friday football clash tomorrow night here in Adelaide. Selection details have just come in. Tom Wren is live at Adelaide Oval. Tommy, what can you tell us?
Well, Trennis, a couple of key defensive inclusions for the Crows. Jake Kelly and Luke Brown coming back, so they've really bolstered up that defensive back six. That means that Nick Murray comes out of the side after making his debut last week, as does Dave McKay, who looked just a touch proppy earlier today at training. Chase Jones also out of the 23, so that medical sub still needs to come in. The Suns, they've also brought in a couple of players, Harbrow and Burgess in for Sam Day and Connor Buderick, who are both injured. But back to the Crows, still no room for Darcy Fogarty, who remains on the outer. Darcy Fogarty hasn't been included in the Crows' 26-man squad, but the coach insists he is getting close.
And it's a tough one, the balance of bringing him in too early. Our midfield at the moment are performing well, in and around stoppage, and our seek around the footy's been pretty good. So, for Fog, if we can get him in there at a point, we'd really like to do that, but the timing's got to be right.
Chase Jones, another who will have to bide his time in the sandful.
Medical sub last week didn't get activated We need him to play a full game of footy.
The issue of the medical sub has been a sore point for both SA clubs, with the SANFL ruling a player cannot play if they spend any time on the ground the same weekend.
For a player to play 5 minutes of an AFL game but then not be able to get a game in for that particular weekend, it puts us on the back foot.
Meantime, it appears almost certain fitness guru Darren Burgess will head back to SA next season to join the Crows.
That's not for me to comment on. It's inappropriate for me to comment on a staff member from another club.
The Crows take on the Suns, who are planning to settle in Adelaide for several weeks if required because of COVID in Queensland.
We were pretty explicit and said pack for 2 or 3 weeks, and if they're like me, that's about their wardrobe and you just rotate through.
But they want to take something with them. The 4 points off the Crows for the first time in Adelaide, having lost the previous 6 attempts.
At our footy club, there's a lot of opportunities for first. That's the exciting thing, but that's an opportunity we got tomorrow night. We haven't done it yet, so it'd be nice to get this one.
Tom Wren, 9 News.
Meantime, Connor Rosie is poised to make his return to the Port Adelaide side to take on the Eagles as the Power sets itself for its biggest test of its season so far.
3 weeks after foot surgery, the wide expanse of Perth Stadium will suit Rosie down to the ground. Todd Marshall also trained today. The Power could gamble on playing him alongside Georgiades Dixon and Laddams.
When you pick too many tools, you're worried about the speed on the ground and the pressure, and Toddy and Mitch can both apply that. So I think there'll be plenty of confidence if we do play 4 tools that they'll be able to do that.
After 2 weeks as medical sub, Tom Rockcliffe is set to line up for the Magpies tonight against Norwood alongside Kane Farrell. But no doubts about Dan Houston's form. With a kicking efficiency of more than 82%, he's been called the best kick in the comp by both Kane Corns and Matthew Lloyd.
It's a nice thing to hear being said about yourself, and in the AFL there are a lot of really good kicks going around, so to have my name in that conversation is nice to hear.
Houston benefiting from the new man on the mark rule.
I feel like that's definitely helped for me with my kicking to be able to have the confidence to access different parts of the ground and be able to use my kick.
Planning to use it to great effect in Port's biggest challenge so far.
We've gone over with different tactics each year on how to beat them, and it'll be no different this year. We'll be trying to take the ball off them and play our brand of footy in offence.
Vicky Schwartz, 9 News.
A massive boost for the Adelaide 36ers ahead of their home game against Illawarra on Saturday night, with confirmation young star Josh Giddey will play. The 18-year-old was at training this morning, showing no signs of the ankle injury he suffered a fortnight ago. His coach excited to have him back.
It is a big thing just because he's our lead point guard. He handles the ball 80% of the time. His production has been at a very good high level for us.
The Sixers will play their first game at home in more than a month and will be looking to snap a 5-game losing streak against the Hawks. Well, the Redbacks will say goodbye to one of their all-time greats, with paceman Chad Sayers announcing his retirement. And emotional Sayers to play his final Sheffield Shield game against Victoria starting Saturday.
It was a tough decision, but with no guarantees on a contract next season. The performances of myself and the team this year, and how my knee has been feeling over the past month or so, it sits well with me. That's the right time to hang him up.
You should be very proud of yourself. You're going to go down as one of the greatest players that ever worn the South Australian cap, mate. That's something you should be very proud of.
In a decorated career, Sayers has taken a hat-trick and also taken 278 Shield wickets, the third most in the state's history. Tim Zhu has urged the WBO to bring world-class fights to Australia. Zhu is undefeated in 18 fights after having a devastating defeat of Dennis Hogan in Newcastle, which ended when the Irishman's corner threw in the towel after the 5th round.
Why not bring the fights here? You can fight in a shoebox in front of no one, or you can fight in a roaring crowd, as yesterday. And I think every fighter deserves to experience such a atmosphere and events.
Hogan was certainly impressed by the Australians' performance, telling Zhu the hype is real.
Hype is
absolutely
real.
A lot like his old man could fight too. Good work, Chad Sayers, superstar fella and a great career.
And enjoy the football tomorrow. Thank you so much, Treaders. The Australian share market rose in the final session of the week ahead of the 4-day long weekend. Here's business reporter Chris Kohler.
The All Ordinaries rose 0.7% today and is heading into the long weekend at 7,064 points. Mining and tech companies led the way, while CSL and Macquarie weighed on the market. AMP jumped almost 5% after a new CEO was announced. And it was a shocking first day on London's market for food delivery service Deliveroo. It lost nearly £2 billion. That's 3.6 billion Australian dollars after the stock was cold on arrival. And the Australian dollar was weaker today, buying 75.4 US cents, 64.4 euro cents and well under 55 British pence. The market will be closed on Good Friday and Easter Monday, but it'll be kicking back into gear on Tuesday.
Thank you, Chris. Well, good news. You only need to pack shorts and T-shirts this Easter. Chelsea Carey has the long weekend forecast next. But first, keep tomorrow's speed cameras front of mind.
Across Adelaide, well,
tune into the 5AA Breakfast Show tomorrow from 6 a.m. for breaking news, weather and traffic in and around Adelaide.
Deadly aircraft.
The plane with a software program that pilots were never told about.
If anything affects the flight controls, pilots must know.
It left 346 people dead.
The biggest cover-up in aviation history.
Boeing played a game of Russian roulette with the flying public.
Would you put your family on a MAX?
The season final, under investigation. Monday after Married on 9.
Get your Woolies worth for Easter with 20-pack Cadbury Easter egg crate, 340 grams. Now just $7 each. Save $2.
That's why I pick Woolies.
Termites and borers are a problem in Australia, so it's good news that frames made with the inner strength of True Core steel are 100% termite and borer proof. To find builders using True Core steel, visit truecore.com.au.
The Sleeping Duck Motherboard Multi-Zone Pocket Spring System. Perimeter zoning that lets you sleep right to the edge, delivering up to 20% extra functional space, which makes the queen-size mattress feel like a king. Sleeping Duck.
This year, the big city isn't big enough for both of them.
Tom and Jerry the movie.
At Terry White Chemmart, we're here to help this winter. That's why pharmacists like Bridget are trained to administer flu vaccinations right here in store. Book now. Walk-ins also available. Terry White Chemmart. Now that's real chemistry.
What's going on?
eBay Tuesdays. Heaps of deals every Tuesday.
How are those reports going?
On things like noise-cancelling headphones.
Is that ham? We should get sushi, Carol. What was that, Greg? They're yelling.
Termites and borers are a problem in Australia, so it's good news that frames made with the inner strength of True Core steel are 100% termite and borer proof. To find builders using True Core steel, visit truecore.com.au.
Life happens, and you can't always see it coming. That's why Booper's here, because double bouncing will always be a thing. Because it's not just waves that break. Because small print is always on the menu. And because every chance deserves to be celebrated. We'll be there when life happens to give you the cover you need and the service you expect. Booper, because life happens. Join today.
Super Cheap Autos Club Day with 30% off everything store-wide starts online tomorrow. That's right, 30% off everything for Club Plus members. Not a member? It's easy to sign up today. On sale online tomorrow, in-store and online Saturday.
Everything auto, much more.
Well, holiday makers here at the Adelaide Showground Caravan Park are ready for the Easter long weekend. Hopefully the eskies are stocked and the sunscreen is packed. We have a few sunny days on the way. And today it's been very warm. We hit a top of 32 degrees in the city. Right now it's still sitting on 29. Sunshine right across the suburbs. Mawson Lakes topping 33 with 31 at Glenelg and Noarlunga. Dry across the north of the state with warm winds helping to drive the mercury up. Port Augusta hit 34, Clare made 31. Now it was a chilly start for those waking up in the southeast, but daytime temperatures have been well above average really for all of us. Murray Bridge hit 34, Nuriutpa 31. Now if you're travelling interstate for the Easter break, well tomorrow there will be some cloud around Perth, but looking hot and dry. Melbourne, blue skies in store with a top of 29, a little cooler down in Tasmania. Back home, and if you're travelling into the regions, well make sure you pack your summer wardrobe. Hot and dry across the north and west tomorrow, up to 36 at Ceduna, 34 at Port Pirie. And you will find the sun wherever you go. In the Riverland, going for a top of 33 at Renmark, up to 35 at Murray Bridge, and of course plenty of people heading to Victor Harbour. Expect a sunny 31 there. Now for those of you who are taking the boat out tomorrow, well I am jealous. It's looking lovely and calm out on local waters. Winds to 10 knots, seas to 1 metre. Across Adelaide, well if you like the heat, then this is a good-looking Good Friday. Blue skies and up to 34 at Elizabeth, 32 at Noarlunga. And in the hills, well, there will be very high fire danger, so just take extra care with barbecues. A top of 33 for Mount Barker. In the city, a sunny top of 33 degrees. Plenty of sunshine on Saturday as well, 32. Then a wind change will roll through and taking the edge off the heat on Sunday for the Easter egg hunt, and Monday 26. So Brenton, really a very good looking Easter forecast.
A good Friday indeed. Thanks so much, Chelsea, and thank you for your company. That's the news for this Thursday. Over to a current affair next, then further updates a little later. But from all the team, have a happy and safe Easter. Good night.